All right, before we get started and delving into this huge week and a half of nothing but pro wrestling,
Yeah.
I wanted to make a comment real quick. I've been at work today, so obviously I haven't really been able to see much about what's been going on with Ric Flair. Regardless, right now our thoughts and well wishes are with Rick and his family currently right now, and we hope for a speedy recovery for the Nature Boy.
Definitely.
I don't want to have to do one of these shows on Wednesday talking and basically spending the entire show talking about bad things. So get well soon, Nature Boy.
Definitely. Hopefully, we got some good stuff going on with that.
Yeah, it was
Positive news. I mean, we've had the news that the surgery that was successful, which it's unclear whether that's the surgery that he was supposed to be having, because apparently there was some scheduled for this week,
right.
or whether it was another issue that they did as well as the surgery. But from all I know from the notes, and certainly, the dirt sheets are reporting it on it because people want to know the info. But surprisingly, Dave is being very sort of slow on the news because I'm guessing he's friends with him probably
Yeah, I'd say
over
so.
the years. So he's letting the news basically come out, and he's sort of saying what all the medical experts have been saying, regarding this, and that, he's not out the woods yet.
Right.
But the surgery's been successful, so at least, if that can help things, hopefully that solves the issue.
Let's see what happens. That's all you really can do at this point.
Hmm.
So, let you know real quickly where we're standing here. Tonight is Raw. We do our Wednesday show on Wednesday. And of course, you got Destination X on Thursday. So we'll be covering that as well.
Yeah. So you got that, and then that, tapings Friday as well.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday for tapings.
And of course, you got the interesting issue of what is happening with Impact right now as we head into Bound for Glory.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things going on. It's official. Alberto El Patron has been stripped of the GFW World Heavyweight title indefinitely. It does not say anything about if his suspension is over. It's just saying that he has been stripped of the title, and I'm going to guess we're going to be getting a new champion between Loki and a superstar that will be named at a later date. Maybe do like a lethal lottery or a matchup to determine who faces Loki for the vacant GFW championship on Thursday night.
On top of, and before we even get to the actual weekend, you've got all the stuff that happened this past weekend with bloody, TK Cooper's horrific injury.
Yeah, he shattered his ankle, did he not?
It might be a severe dislocation.
That's not
Whatever it is, he needs a cast.
right.
But certainly you could see. I mean, some people were comparing it to Sid
Oh, that's not good.
leg break because it did look floppy. But if it was fully dislocated, it would be floppy.
Right.
So from what they've done with the assessment, I think it's not as bad as they fear. But it still means he's going to be, after just coming back because of his visa issues. Plus, Progress had a shit weekend really, with travel issues, venue problems, fans passing out, um, whole load of stuff. Plus, the majority of them are actually staying over, at least the contracted WWE ones because they're heading down to Orlando to do some stuff at the Performance Center.
Speaking of that, in the Performance Center, finally happened. It's official now. Adam Cole was heading his way to NXT.
Yeah, I was going to say that. The only reason to watch NXT on Saturday night isn't any of the matches. It's Adam Cole in the front row doing that shit-eating grin, and everybody in the crowd just going, Adam Cole, baby!
Yeah, I'm positive Brooklyn will jump on that. So yeah, we've got Impact this week. We've got Ring of Honor this week. We've got Takeover Saturday. We've got
Takeover and Ring of
SummerSlam.
Honor Saturday.
Yeah, both are going to be covered on Saturday, and then on Sunday we have SummerSlam, which is going to last 72 days. So,
and then of course we're not covering SmackDown live, but of
right.
course it's 4 consecutive nights in the Barclays Center.
Yep, that's right.
So it's gonna be crazy. And on top of that, probably within the next few days, we'll be getting New Japan stuff resolved from the climax of the G1 climax and leading into, I think it's King of Pro Wrestling next.
Yes.
Probably next month and whatever. And that's just this weekend. We don't even get to the following weekend when it's Mayweather McGregor, and then the following weekend after that, which is Bowler and King of Trios. Actually, also thinking about it, next weekend as well as the Pro Wrestling World Cup finals. Jesus Christ, we don't get a break.
No.
Oh.
The next thing for New Japan is going to be the Road to Destruction. On the 5th.
Yeah, but that's the house shows. So that I'm trying to think what the big show would be after that, the Road to Destruction.
Well, you've got after New Japan Road. King of Pro Wrestling is October 9th.
Is that the next big one?
That's what it looks like.
Come on, Pro Wrestler. Help me, man.
Yeah, King of Pro Wrestling, and then we have the myriad of shows, the Road to Power Struggle, starting on October 18th, and then we're moving all the way to Power Struggle on November 5th, and that's going to lead us into 2018.
Mm-hmm.
So, speaking of New Japan, obviously, because I'm all about segues tonight, apparently. Tonight, I have officially procured my now 7th New Japan Pro Wrestling t-shirt.
Jesus.
Every Bullet Club shirt that is available on Pro Wrestling Tees via Hot Topics online store, I now own, including the New Japan Pro Wrestling shirt, and I'm now waiting for the LIJ shirt, the new Elite shirt, which got officially announced during their Q&A, which, of course, it's a catch-22 for me, Ashley, because it's a long-sleeve shirt and I live in Florida.
So, when it rains...
Yeah, I can probably... I can wear it in, like, October towards the end of our nights. That'll work. Yeah. And, of course, the brand new shirts for Hangman Page and the Gorilla's Destiny. So I have to get those. And according to the Elite Q&A, it sounds like we are getting even more things coming with Bullet Club in 2018, even more so than what we already have. It's anyone's guess what that means.
Yeah.
I know shoes are on the docket. I don't know anything more than that.
Shoes are already up for sale, I think, on Pro Wrestling Tees.
Well, Marty's shoes are available right now.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were available until today.
Yeah, they sold out or they went off sale. Also, the Rick and Morty ripoff shirt had to be pulled because of copyright from Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
If anybody got that, you've got a rare item, so don't try and wear it.
Oh man, that's gonna be hard. That's to the eBays to see if it's even on there. I doubt it is.
Oh, if it is, it'll be a lot of money.
Yes.
So let's start talking about a show with only technically 5 matches.
God, it's crazy.
This is what happens when Vince McMahon is a slave driver. I know I keep saying it, and people go, you can't say, well, considering there's a story over here about how modern slavery still exists, I think it's a variant of it. Perhaps it's not all out slavery, but some variant of it is happening in WWE with everybody getting injured because they can't work the schedule.
Right.
Because most bodies probably can't.
That's crazy. Yeah.
They did so much tonight that didn't involve matches. And the stuff that did was weird.
Yeah, I can see that.
Weirdly done, anyway.
I agree with you on that.
So we open with the vid package on Seth and Dean. Will they, won't they, will they, won't they? So here comes Dean. And, gets his music cut and says, look, people are asking what's going on with him and Seth. And the fact of the matter is, he don't know. So you want Seth out there. Rollins comes out and Dean's like, what do you think you're doing? And Seth is just like, the same could be said to you. You say that the only reason that we were, you and me were put together was Kurt. But you know what? There's still a connection between you and me. And I know that we're meant to be together again. And I'm willing to put the past behind us and stop playing games. And he puts the fist out. And Dean is like pondering it for a bit and then goes, I ain't doing that. Not since last week when, I offered, my fist bump and you didn't even do it. I can't trust you. And Seth is just like, look, I know. Sometimes I can't even trust myself. Perhaps we're just too different. But then again, perhaps us being so different is what makes us such a great team. And then says, I'm done playing games again and goes to leave. And Dean just stops him and put his fist out. And Seth just does the great thing of raising his hand, putting it into a fist, and then just going, nah, and goes to leave. And, they get into a shoving match. They get into a mini brawl, go to the floor. Here come Sheamus and Cesaro to beat down on both of them. Except Dean runs off. So Seth gets a 2-on-1 beatdown. Then Dean comes back to make the save, but he gets beat down 2-on-1. Then Seth comes back, which allows them both to recover, and they both throw Sheamus and Cesaro out the ring respectively. And then Dean puts his fist out like, come on, let's do it. And Seth's like, no. And so Dean takes it back. Seth puts his fist out. And Dean's like, no. You didn't respond to me. And then just on the right cue, they both do it at the same time to each other. Crowd is going apeshit crazy. And then here comes Kurt Angle, and they don't even get to do a proper "you suck" chant bit because I guess we got so much time to pad. God, the padding that went on. And he just goes, at SummerSlam, Sheamus and Cesaro defend against Ambrose and Rollins. It's damn true.
So, Ashley, before we go any further, I have some comments from Jeremy in chat.
The comments in the chat, I should probably bring that up because then I can now do this on the actual new rig that I've had for a month.
Jeremy asked why the Revival wasn't on the show. Obviously, we do have an injury right now.
Yeah.
And
Dawson's injured. They actually specified that in the Hardys backstage bit.
Yep.
Which you may or may not have seen.
Main event was Lindsay Dorado and Grand Metalik defeating Arya Davari and Drew Gulak, and Kurt Hawkins losing to Kalisto.
Random as fuck.
Yes. Ashley, what did you think of Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets?
It's okay.
Right?
It's not atrocious. It's not atrociously bad because there's enough stuff in there. But when you've got a vapid pair of unlikable leads,
yep.
in Cara Delevingne, she's so shit. When she does the singing at the end, I was like, why am I not fucking surprised? You want to ruin this movie even more, you dumb bitch.
No one on this network likes her. Because AJ doesn't like her either. And I'm not a fan.
And Dane DeHaan isn't the right face. Well, he might be good if you had the right female to go with him as a pair. But it's another case of him not delivering, which probably isn't his fault again. Because Cure for Wellness was very good.
Yeah, well, here's the thing with not necessarily her, but someone like her, like maybe a Dane DeHaan and maybe a Brie Larson would be a better comparison to probably make it work a lot better.
Anybody but Delevingne.
Yeah,
the minute she's practically deaf for movies, so you know.
She's the Roman Reigns of Hollywood.
So I need to check what shit she's gonna be in next, and why we should all be fucking petrified. So
yeah, Jeremy's bringing up the brand new Elias World Tour Authentic shirt. Yeah, it doesn't look bad. The fact that we have a brand new cruiserweight champion in Akira Tozawa. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Don't worry.
Oh, she's in Tulip Fever, that film that was rumored for Oscars and then just died.
Yeah.
Oh, that's also got Dane DeHaan in. Oh god, that double death. And she's also in London Fields, but then again, that's got Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. Oh, that could be awkward. And Jason Isaacs and Jamie Alexander and Theo James and Jim Sturgis. Oh, but she's the lead. Oh, that's going to be fucking terrible.
So we move forward now.
So the commentary talk about the Ric Flair situation, and then we get into Nia Jax versus Sasha Banks immediately.
Hey, most important part of this entire match. Right away, we find out because, obviously I understand why JoJo couldn't make the show because she had a death in the family. But one major thing about this that I really enjoyed, my boy Mike Brown in the ring announcer chair this time around. Life is good. Shout out.
See, I don't want to look on the negative side of stuff, but clearly, if there's any plans for anything with Charlotte over the upcoming week, including SmackDown tomorrow, I'm sort of wondering whether that gets put on ice.
I'd say so.
They should do.
I'd pull her off SummerSlam, to be honest, just in case.
Plus, I don't think she needs to be there.
No.
You've already got enough storylines going on anyway. Plus, you don't need to. If you're going to be doing the angle that seems to be hinted at by a load of people that it's going to be the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen somewhere down the line,
right?
Which is probably going to be kickstarted by, if this thing comes to any fruition, Cyborg and Becky Lynch.
Yeah,
I don't think there's any. I don't know whether there's any need for it to be, you could easily have Sasha go out there, depending on, I guess Bayley possibly, even though her arm would be in a sling, in case anything happens. But I think it's the start of Cyborg versus Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania 34.
And
yeah. Dana White's going, shit.
To be completely honest, we've talked about this for a while on here, and I'll bring it up again because it makes sense because we said this first. The battle of the four horsewomen at Survivor Series pretty much just writes itself, honestly. It's a night where it's 4-on-4 elimination matches, and it would make perfect sense to be on that card. That could be a cornerstone of the show. And I would approve of this.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Sasha against Nia Jax. Yeah. This match was pretty good. I enjoyed this very much, actually. It was pretty good for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And very well done, too, actually. For what it was a good it was a good David Goliath match. And I liked it because it worked really well. I will say, though, the issue that I have, that I always have, is God, we got to do something about Nia being a little bit on the green side. When she basically swung Sasha into the barricade midway through the match. So that's always something we have to worry about with this situation. But yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that up. But by and large, it was a pretty good match. And basically, Nia fights the bank statement. I liked it. The irony of all ironies, actually, she beat a Samoan that is, as we have said many times on this network, tainted by the blood of Dwayne with a Maya Via Hurricane.
Yeah.
Into the bank statement for the submission.
The beautiful irony.
It looks great.
I just did like, though, that Alexa's sitting on that bloody lifeguard chair throughout.
She was like, at this point, I'm gonna make a reference here. If you get it, I'm sure you will, but I hope a lot of you get it. Alexa Bliss in this match, looking as gorgeous as always, came off like Wendy Peppercorn in Sandlot, just sitting up there on her perch, watching down below at everybody swimming. And she just decided when to come down. I love this. There's like, the queen does not need to be on the ground with you peasants.
But part of me also wonders whether WWE did it because you go, she's fucking short.
I don't care. She's absolutely gorgeous, and she can work. So
she's fucking short. This seems to be the trend that's going on. WWE is doing its own memes backstage.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, because, and we'll get to it in a minute because it's actually coming up, sadly. The shark cage stuff. Apparently, Monsieur Enzo Amore is scared of heights. And the shark cage thing is more ribbing on him because of his antics. This is weird considering the political antics that Cass has been up to. And I'm not talking backstage politics. I'm talking about, you know, Alec Baldwin SNL politics.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm amazed that I guess he can't be properly buried because, you know, Vince is a supporter of the party. Whether he's a supporter of the man, I guess logically he'd have to be because of the fact that perhaps Donald Trump may have saved WrestleMania back in the day. You know, with 4 and 5's financial situation and everything. So who knows? We'll never find that out until afterwards when Vince does his tell-all, probably. So now Kurt's happy backstage with, you know, Sasha and Alexa happening. And the Hardys come in and, you know, it's basically like, look, Dawson's injured, so, you know, the match you wanted with Revival at SummerSlam, it can't happen. And Matt's just, I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was something like, it's delightful revenge for, you know, what they tried to do to us and everything. And here comes Miz and the Miztourage. And Kurt says, well, it's good you're here because I know it couldn't happen last week because of what happened with Brock. So, Curtis, you go one-on-one with Jason Jordan tonight. And he's really happy. And Miz goes, oh, sorry. And then he goes, if you got any problems with what happened with Brock, you'll have to bring it up with him. And Miz is like, huh, what a surprise. More abuse of power from you regarding, tarnishing me. And, your black son.
I don't want this to be forgotten, Ashley, because I thought you would pick up on this, but perhaps maybe not. I remember watching the opening match, watching the Sasha and Nia match, and I saw a spot that was rather intriguing. Did you notice that at one point Sasha was going for Will Ospreay's Cheeky Nando's kick?
Oh, the drop kick bit.
She didn't kick her in the face. She kicked her in the leg and kind of tied her up for the double knee drop in the corner. But I thought that was rather unique and something we haven't seen from her before.
I'm trying to think what that would be called in America. Cheeky Popeyes, I guess.
What is Nando's exactly?
Well, it normally serves like Mexican food, but sort of like it's the Cheeky Nando's is sort of like spicy chicken that isn't battered like KFC.
Right.
So it's whoever serves that sort of stuff. It's not like battered chicken. It's just chicken that's spiced up and flavored and everything because it's hot and spicy.
It could be like Zaxby's or PDQ or KFC or Chick-fil-A. I mean,
considering it's a woman and because Vince likes sexist stuff, that's what we'll call it, the cheeky Chick-fil-A.
I'm done with that. That's what we're calling it. And we'll probably never see it again, though.
If she just keeps kicking her in the leg, though, you can sort of say that sort of is like a big chicken fillet.
Yeah,
because it's a big muscle of mass and everything on your leg.
very true.
So yeah, the cheeky Chick-fil-A. Miz is all abuse of power and everything. Says no, it won't be Axel that faces him. It'll be me. And Kurt's like, wow, Jason will love that. Then they were about to do other stuff and whatever, and the ref just comes in and says, look, we got a problem with Finn and Bray, you got to come. And Miz is like, oh, thanks, sort of deal. So then we go back from commercial. Finn and Bray are brawling backstage, officials keeping them apart. Adam Pearce and Robert Gibson and the lot, and Joey Mercury and everything. And Kurt's like, just wait till SummerSlam, guys. Wait till then. And Finn goes, why wait? And goes to brawl at him again. And then they split them apart and says, you don't want to wait? Fine. Your SummerSlam match is tonight. And I'm going, what? We're pulling matches off the SummerSlam card because there's too many on the card. If only. We'll get to that. And then Mike Rome gets to say the immortal words, ladies and gentlemen, Elias. Of course, Elias does, Fenway Park's a shitty building. Yeah, you got to hate me, Boston. The thing is, and because I never saw Main Event, I don't know how this carried over. Apparently, last week in Toronto, when he was on Main Event, taking on Kalisto, they were cheering everything he was saying about how Toronto sucks. Proving that they are Bizarro Land and proving what probably was edited the shit out of on Main Event. Because that would have been funny. And to be honest, when they said who wants to walk with Elias, there was a heck of a lot of cheering.
That's why he's got merch now.
So R-Truth then interrupts with his rapping. But before anything can happen, Elias attacks him. And then leaves. So, because reasons?
What is he using as a finish now? Is he still using the Crossroads?
I think all I noted down is he beat him because it was such a merse segment, and I thought it was something was going to happen, like it was going to lead to a match. The fact it was just Elias picked up his guitar and put it over his shoulder, and then his music played. I was like, "Oh, so you had a segment where nothing happened? Good padding, guys. Good
He's
padding."
he's not on the SummerSlam card, is he?
No, but he's going to probably on the pre-show if they wanted to add something. You know, you've set up the storyline where R-Truth could attack him, or R-Truth could have a match with him on the pre-show or something. Probably. Yeah, we've got 2 hours of a pre-show to bloody slog through. Sorry, that just dawned on me. So now Shark Cage is in the ring.
Hold on. So I went back and thank you YouTube on WWE's official YouTube site for checking out the actual segment itself. Elias is not using the Crossroads. He's using a snap version of the Golden Gate Spin.
Okay, different move.
I'm down with that. It looks good too because it's quick and it's impactful.
Mm-hmm. So the Shark Cage is in the ring. Cass makes his way out. And every time he goes this Sunday at SummerSlam, the crowd boo the shit out of him. These boos, I think, were louder than Roman's. Eventually, he just realizes that he can't keep doing that because otherwise we're going to run late, which they pretty much did anyway. And he just goes, you know, it's obvious that Enzo and Show are going to be together at SummerSlam because Enzo needs somebody to help him when he annoys people backstage. So, more shooting. And Big Show clearly needs Enzo so he can stay relevant in this business. You know, Enzo will be locked in the cage at SummerSlam, but I'll be the man on top on Sunday and prove I'm the best big man in wrestling today. And Brock just goes, it's like, and all Enzo can do is watch from his cage. So Enzo comes out and he goes like, well, this Sunday at you seem to have some issues. I don't know whether this might have been because you've been knocked out 2 weeks running. How you doing? And Cass is just like, look, if you want me, I'm willing to fight you in the ring and everything. And Enzo goes, well, no, I think considering you keep staring at me and keep staring at a star, how about we get another star out? And here comes the Big Show. So Big Show gets in the ring and Enzo's causing a distraction sort of on the ring apron. Only to be grabbed from the feet and attacked by the Good Brothers. And Enzo gets taken out easily, and they get I'm guessing it's a belt or a strap, I'm not sure which. Perhaps both. Wrap Show's arm up, drag him to the cage, put his arm between the cage and the door, and Cass slams the door onto Show's hand. And then afterwards they keep it tethered and keep him Show down, and Cass stomps on it multiple times to exacerbate the pain. And as I said in my notes, that was tedious and random. And then you got anything to say about that?
I mean, it's confusing. It really makes no sense they're involved in this.
Yep. Just weird. So now, because it's all about why have Summerslam next week when we can just give it to you for free. Oh, look. It's Tozawa versus Neville for the Cruiserweight title. And I'm pissed. Not because of the match, because it was a very good match. It's just give it away on pay-per-view.
I mean, I don't get it. I don't get why they couldn't have put this on SummerSlam. It would have been a bigger deal to have the title change happen on pay-per-view. But we live in a day and age that pay-per-view buy rate doesn't matter anymore. It's all about popping a rating point.
I don't know.
Great match, though.
Yeah. No, I like the finish as well, with Neville actually going for the red arrow, but then failing and basically knocking himself out. So Tozawa used the opportunity, go for the senton and get the win. But it's like, so you give away a pay-per-view match on free TV and have the title change. And the thing is, because of the match that happened earlier, and especially because it was the hometown girl, this by default, especially because it came halfway through the show, became the piss break match. Yep. And it was only towards the end when they got back from the piss break that they got into it. So, you know, good. Congrats to Tozawa, but it's like, it's a shame. Even if it was on the pay-per-view pre-show free on YouTube, it still would have been part of that, like, undercard.
Right, exactly.
Rather than on a Raw that, you know, hopefully people watched. Who knows? So Balor versus Wyatt's up next. Keep that in mind. So now we're in the back. The medics are basically saying Show's hand may be broken, but they're not sure. And Enzo says, look, you don't have to fight on Sunday. And Show's just like, a battle road worse. I'm not going to miss SummerSlam for the world. There you go. And then Mickey's backstage and Emma comes in saying all the injustices she's had considering she started the women's revolution and how she won last week. And Mickey goes, well, all things aside, it's not just you. It was the women's revolution. It was a lot of women here. And we can't hide the fact that you tapped out last week. But if you feel up for a challenge, why not get in the ring with a 6-time women's champ tonight? And I'm going Trish Stratus. And Emma accepts Mickie James's challenge. Here comes Bray. And the match is after the break. Wait, what? Why I keep doing this? It is a match.
Yeah, and once again, God.
Then they reveal. Well, then they announce, as was announced earlier today, that SummerSlam 2018 is going to be back at Brooklyn for next year as well.
What is the point in doing Bray Wyatt and Finn Balor in like a short, quick match, other than the fact that Bray beat Finn Balor?
It wasn't Finn Balor as we've established, apparently.
No, it's Finn Balor. It's not the Demon King. There's a difference.
Yes, that's what I mean. It's not the true Finn Balor.
Right.
It's just a Finn Balor that's got a fancy jacket and is a real rock and roller.
Yes.
It's a good match and all that they have, but giving it away again on paper when it's supposed to be a pay-per-view match seems weird unless you're covering up the fact that everybody's fucking injured. So then afterwards, I mean, do you want to cover the match? Or have you already done it?
With Balor against Bray?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it went back and forth for a while. Bray went for the Nadao Itachi. Finn escapes, hits a sling blade. And Wyatt gets out of the way of the drop kick. Puts the back senton for a near fall. He goes for the Exorcist crab walk and ends up going to Sister Abigail. Finn escapes out, rolls into the double stomp. They go to the outside, and this leads Balor to the shotgun drop kick on the outside, sending him into the barricade. He rolls him into the ring, goes up top for the coup de grace, but Bray gets up and shoves Finn off the top after crouching him up there. Hits Sister Abigail and gets the win. So, yeah, it does make sense in the long term because he basically destroyed Finn Balor to bring about the return of the Demon King.
Yeah, because Finn basically crawls up Bray's leg afterwards and gets another Sister Abigail and everything. And then the lights go out and come back on. Finn's sat in the corner turnbuckle on the floor. And Bray's got a bucket. And Bray's like going, this is what happens when you let the devil do your work. And then pours this bucket of, I swear it's just ketchup because it looked the right consistency.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting because obviously we kind of had a Carrie moment here because it wasn't dropped from the ceiling or anything, but Finn getting covered in blood.
They couldn't do that because the shark cage was up there.
Right. Finn being covered up in blood basically makes me think that that's causing him to snap and that's causing him to officially, the last straw, to turn into the demon that he now is via the screen that we got at the end of the show tonight.
The great thing is like he's driving in agony and they're talking about how apparently it seemed acidic, which probably means it was ketchup because ketchup is acidic. Whether that was a rib, like the guy is as if to, rather than come up with a decent enough red paint to look like blood, they just got ketchup or something. And not too thick ketchup, but the right sort of thickness and consistency and whatever to be the right thing. And then Mickie James and Emma are already in the ring because you don't get entrances. And the match that they have is probably okay. Sort of back and forth, and Mickie wins clean with a mitt kick.
Yeah, there really wasn't much to it. And Jeremy said it too. Emma's getting screwed over. It's just seriously, don't speak your mind on social media. It does not end well ever.
Yep. Look at Enzo. Look at Cass.
And the thing about Cass is the weird thing is he's got the size that everybody loves in the company, but it's just that group. Both Enzo and Cass have gone so far downhill to the point that I would say by next year, maybe both of them won't have jobs any longer. Wouldn't extremely shock me.
Then Finn comes out of Kurt's office, and basically he's got a rematch on Sunday. Oh, so the match that was happening on SummerSlam is still happening. And it's, you know, if Bray wants to bring his demons, I'll have to bring mine. And then later on, it's like, oh my God, we never saw this coming. The Demon Finn Balor is facing Bray on Sunday. You never saw it. How fucking dumb are you after seeing that promo 20 minutes before? Jesus Christ. So then Miz and Mr. Raj come out. They recap the stuff with Jason Jordan from last week. Jason comes out getting booed. So it's a heel versus heel match. Nice job, guys. For what it was not too bad between Miz and Jordan. But eventually, as Jordan was sort of building towards getting a win, Mr. Raj come and beat down on Jordan. Then the Hardys come out for the save. And Miz does get hit with a belly-to-belly suplex. And then we're back from ads, and hold on, player! We're going to have a 6-man tag match. Because Teddy Long reasons.
Always Teddy Long reasons.
Yes.
And I'll give them credit. They gave this match time.
Yeah, they actually, well, because this was the main event, of course.
Yeah, this is the last match of the night.
So they gave it like 15, 20 minutes, something in the region of?
Yep.
What I did like the fact is, I think it was, no, it wasn't this one. It was the Bray Finn one. After like a minute, they went straight back to commercial.
Yeah, that was bizarre.
Despite the fact they only just went from commercial, it's like, okay. Good timing, guys. Also interesting to note, at least as we know of, Miz isn't even on the card at SummerSlam.
Yeah, that's very bizarre.
I mean, you understand the Hardys because of the revival situation.
Of
The
course.
fact that, as it looks, the IC title will not be defended at SummerSlam. The only title that won't be. Come to think of it.
At SummerSlam.
Yeah.
SummerSlam is what the Intercontinental title was based out of. All the great Intercontinental title matches we've seen.
Part of me thinks if nothing happens Sunday, they're probably going to do an IC title match on
Raw?
the Monday.
I'd say so.
On Raw.
I mean, we still have another show to add these matches, but I mean, there's no point to do it because it's not a Raw branded show.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, for what it was good. You sort of had the usual spots. Although Miz, I don't think even went for his finisher, did he?
I don't believe so.
Because all I remember is like the finish, certainly with the Twist of Fate and the Swanton Bomb on Dallas, but it was still a good match that they had.
He crowned Matt, and then he hit the Miz line in the corner, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, match over. Jeff hits the Swanton, gets the win.
So tomorrow on 205 Live, we've got Tozawa's Cruiserweight title celebration. which could be short-lived because, unsurprisingly, Neville wants his rematch. Oh, look, it's on pay-per-view. So the match is happening. It's just somebody's got the different title. Okay. By the way, no match is mentioned for the pre-show.
Yeah, that's
so
weird.
If they do 2 hours of build-up and there's no pre-show matches, that's going to be... Jeez. So now security surrounding the ring as we get to the end. Kurt's in the ring. First, brings out Brock and Paul. And Heyman does the usual introduction and says, clearly WWE is trying to squeeze one more rating out of my client by setting up this meeting, this whatever you want to call it. But the fact of the matter is, if Brock's in the same ring with either Roman, Joe, or Braun, there will be no security be able to stop this all-out prison brawl. Now, it's clearly a conspiracy that 3 strong contenders are going to be winning the Universal title, and probably by not beating Brock himself. And Heyman once again says, look, if he loses the belt, Brock's leaving and I'm leaving. But here's the reality check, Joe won't be able to go back to his tribe with the belt and say that he's proclaimed his glory. The monster is going to be slayed by the beast, and Roman's yard, whatever that is in Brock's house, and rent is due, bitches. So here's Paul Heyman's spoilers. 1, Brock loses the title, leaves with Paul, and gets locked in a cage. Hint, hint. Literally what Paul Heyman said. Or spoiler 2, Brock proves the greatness that he truly is, and even, would shock everybody, including Paul, by overcoming the odds and retaining the belt. So here comes Joe and says, I don't fear you. And in all honesty, I want to make sure that the guy I pin to get that belt is you, because then I truly rip it away from your hands. Then here comes Braun and says, don't forget, I'm always the last man standing. Ask Roman Reigns. And Joe rightfully goes, whoa. The only reason you were last man standing last week is because I choked a bitch out. Just got lucky. And here comes Roman. Doesn't even say anything. He just beats the shit out of Joe. Then Braun destroys Roman. And then Kurt Angle's son's favorite wrestler and Brock stare each other down. Security try to stop them. They do so, sort of, but then they sort of get into mini brawls and whatever, and being held back. Then security all gets destroyed by both guys, separately in their respective corners. And then they stare each other down as if they're going to go for another bit. Then what's left of the locker room, or the right people from the locker room, come out to separate them. Again, struggling with brief seconds of the 2 brawling together before being pulled apart again. And the logo comes up and there's another brawl that just starts. It's like, well, we can't fade out yet, Vince. You gotta hold up, even though you've only got about a minute left before you're gonna get cut off the air because you can't overrun. And thankfully, they clearly get a word out to the guys going, you got to stop doing it. Otherwise we can't cut to black and then we run out of time. And then, you're paying for the overrun. And that's how it ended. I don't know what happened after the show. I'm guessing some sort of match, probably, because otherwise you had a shit ton of people that aren't going to be wrestling until Sunday.
Trying to find if there's any live reports out there. I'm not seeing any. Hold on, never mind. I got that. Thank you. So the main event tonight was a dark match. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
God, you're dumb. Sorry. The main event for next week's Raw dark match. That's weird. The main event for the SummerSlam, the Raw after SummerSlam next Monday night. The dark match is Corbin, Jinder, and Kevin Owens versus Shinsuke, Orton, and AJ. On a Raw show.
Apparently, the Usos are in Providence tomorrow. Just looking at the lineup before the SmackDown Live show. And then Becky Lynch is going to be at Barnes & Noble on Wednesday and Toys R Us in Brooklyn on Thursday. Then Jinder Mahal is going to be at StubHub, apparently.
Random.
Great choice. Charlotte apparently is going to be on Friday morning at Toys R Us in a different place in Brooklyn. Also, Carmella's going to be at Foot Locker. Dolph Ziggler is going to be at a Cricket Wireless store. Then they're doing some Summerslam meet and greets at the 4040 Club at the Barclays Center. Friday has Dean Ambrose and AJ. Then Friday at 2 in Brooklyn at a Toys R Us Staten Island. Natalia's going to be there, and the Usos are going to be in Coney Island at the Nets team store, whatever that is. And then 3:30 in the afternoon at the 4040 Club. There's going to be a SummerSlam meet and greet, one with Alexa Bliss, Naomi, and Asuka, and the other with Nakamura. And then Friday evening, a special meet and greet for Connor's Cure with Triple H and Stephanie happening. Then on Saturday, there's a SummerSlam meet and greet with the Hardys at 10 a.m. Also at the same time at Toys R Us in Queens, Neville's going to be there. The Neville Man. Also, Sasha's going to be at the 4040 Club. Why have they put that separately? That would make sense if they put them together. Finn Balor and Kurt Angle are going to be doing the 12:30 session at the 4040 Club on Saturday. Then 2 o'clock, Toys R Us Long Island City. Titus and Apollo are going to be there. Then the New Day and Roman Reigns are going to be doing SummerSlam meet and greets on Saturday. That's an interesting combination. Samoa Joe's going to be at Midtown Comics at 5 p.m. And then you got the Brooklyn VIP and the general Brooklyn stuff starting from 5:45 and 7:15 respectively. And then, interestingly, straight after SummerSlam, it looks as if SmackDown are doing house shows. Because as Raw's going to be in Brooklyn, I'm guessing SmackDown's going to be at Albany, New York.
That's insane.
At the same time. Yet the Raw brand doesn't have to work on the Tuesday when Brooklyn's happening. So that's really weird. And then, Thursday the 24th will be Full Sail tapings.
I'd love to go to that.
Along with other stuff.
So hard to get to Full Sail, though. I mean, it's so far away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me, it's far away, obviously.
Oh, certainly, but I'm just trying to wait for the stuff to load. It's not loading. I like the fact that my stuff cuts off at September and it just gives up. There's that many events on. Thanks, WWE. Then again, there's about 30 just for the SummerSlam stuff, so there you go. The important thing is, if you do get a VIP experience seat for NXT, you could be sat for 30 seconds next to Adam Cole.
Yeah, that's very true.
Or whoever else might be in the crowd. They seem to be stating that basically as many NXT alumni as they can are going to be there. So that's probably going to be Nakamura showing up occasionally, Carmella, Alexa, Sasha, Bailey, Charlotte. Now, I doubt Rollins, but you never know. We'll have to see. Yeah, we've got to pad out 5 matches into 2.5 hours somehow.
Right. So I think that's going to be our show.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Back here again on Wednesday for the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast at 9 p.m. We're going to talk all things WWE, GFW, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, What Culture Pro Wrestling, Lucha Underground. A lot of shows have happened over the weekend. We're going to be talking about those as well. Mm-hmm. We got NXT, the go-home show leading to TakeOver Brooklyn. Obviously, SmackDown, we're going to be discussing the go-home for SummerSlam on the Blue brand. So that's going to be interesting, and a lot of things are coming down the pipe. So stay tuned for that. And then we have our GFW Impact Destination X. I'm not aware if this is going to be a podcast or if we're going to wait and talk about it on Wednesday. I guess we'll just have to make that decision when we do.
Mm-hmm.
And back here, of course, Saturday in the afternoon at some point for Ring of Honor in the UK, and then NXT TakeOver Brooklyn later that night, and SummerSlam on Sunday, Raw here next Monday night, and back here next Wednesday for the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast. And we're about into September, which means we are inching closer and closer to that magical day that officially, since it is actually after midnight here on the East Coast, we are 1 month away from Halloween Horror Nights 27 opening night. So yes, great things are happening. So that's going to be your show. Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
I'm on Twitter at Ash is my name UK.
Indeed. And you can also check out Ashley here on the network. We just had he had a Sip and Snack guest star series on Sunday. And yesterday, he just put out a brand new Game with Ash. So that's coming your way. And we have our wrestling content on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is tonight, and also tomorrow for the Wednesday Wrestling Popcast. Thursday back here for Sip and Snack. Friday and Saturday, AJ brings Versus on Friday, and we have AJ's movie reviews on Saturday. Reviews of Annabelle Creation as well as Logan Lucky and potentially some others as well. And then, of course, the wrestling content. We already mentioned TakeOver and Ring of Honor on Saturday and SummerSlam on Sunday. Back here for Raw on Monday and Wednesday next week. So
yeah, I think you'll be getting a video game thing related from me rather than a second video because, if me and Owen are doing practically 3 straight days of 4 shows, possibly, it's like, man.
Yep. Indeed. So follow me on Twitter at Sir Owen Disney. Follow the network at Popcast Network. Check out our Facebook fan page at Popcast Network. And that's going to be your show. As always, in a world where there are a billion wrestling podcasts, we're very pleased that once more tonight you have chosen a podcast. I'll thank everyone for watching. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And for the last time this evening, get well soon, Nature Boy. Ric Flair, you are in our thoughts and in our prayers and well wishes right now. We know you will kick out one more time because obviously to be the man, you got to beat the man, and you're never going to beat down the man because the man is forever. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Just realized that's a waste of chicken sauce, that the ketchup that they use, the Finn Balor stuff. Really was.